Bonjour my freaky darlings, it's Benji here. I hope you're doing well. Apologies that I look absolutely haggard, but I am a father and work very long hours and whatever. You might also hear a film going on downstairs. That's because the other half is downstairs watching a film, but anyway, whatever. Little nickety details, eh? But yes, so as you can tell by the title of this video, we're going to do a chapter chat today about chapter 7 of Beautiful Night, called Cyclone of Secrets. Ooh. Now, this chapter is the penultimate chapter of the book. So this gets faster and faster and faster paced until a massive sort of leads up to a reveal at the end, basically. So yeah, as this chapter goes on, it gets quicker and quicker and quicker and more rapid pace. What I also love about, I'm not going to give any spoilers, by the way, in this chat. I never do. But there is a scene, an action scene in this chapter that I absolutely love. It's in a venue, and literally it just gets utterly torn to shreds. Just destruction everywhere, and so dramatic, and it's just a storm of bullets, honestly. But I won't go into details of it so that you don't have any spoilers. I've got some notes over here, hence where you can probably see a glow on my face. But yeah, so this is a chapter where kind of the theme is the Cyclone of Secrets is basically they want to find out, everybody, Derek and everybody else wants to find out who's been the mastermind behind all of this, all of the assassination attempts, all this, that, and the other, who's basically trying to kill them. So the Cyclone of Secrets is basically everything's just coming together in one confusing cyclone mess, and they really just want it sorted out. They're so close to the end, and obviously the eye of a storm, just before the eye of the storm is when it's at its strongest, and that's this basically point in the book. So let me think a minute. So with Derek, obviously the main character, he's in an emotional and mental state. His state of mind is the most painful he has been in throughout this whole journey, because I'd say it's leading up to the most painful part, because he's suffered so much along the way. And yeah, it's really, honestly, he doesn't deal with situations in the best of times very well, especially any social situations. So yeah, for him it's just an absolute cyclone of chaos as well as secrets. So he really struggles in this, but like a superhero that he is, he not an actual superhero. This is, it's a thriller, not a supernatural story. But he has no choice but to deal with it, and he does do it really well. Sorry, I just realised that you can see the error and some trousers up on there. Sorry, apologies for that. Yes. The way that this challenges him as well is just, he's never been challenged like this as much in his life. If you ever think of that, the worst situation that you've ever had in your life, how much it challenged you and how much you went into autopilot, try and compare that and see, and you will understand then how you are forced to go into autopilot, sort of fly or die sort of thing. That's this sort of situation that he finds himself in. I think it's not just an external conflict. The external conflict that he has is obviously he can't trust anyone. He has no idea what's causing all of this. I think deep down he wants to trust every single character he's met so far under Skylar's, under Lucan Weddings, under the organization, the wedding organization. However, he really doesn't. If he were to, that would be absolutely stupid, and he knows that. So trust is nowhere, but he wants it to be somewhere. He feels so alone, even though he's surrounded by a lot of people that he wants to consider his friends. And some of them are. I'm not going to say who, obviously. But yeah. Yeah. And this thing, I was thinking about choices that he makes in this book, in this chapter, and I don't think, when you're stripped of choices, you feel like, I mean, obviously, no matter what situation you're in life, you always have a choice. Um, Derek has a choice in this chapter to fight or not to fight, or to surrender or give up or whatever, but he doesn't do that. He just continues. He just keeps going as best he can because it's the right thing to do. He's very morally driven, so that's that as well. Um, we also meet Hayden for the first time in this chapter. I love his character. Because we meet him so late, he's the least character we spend time with, but he's a very, very pure character, and I do love him very, very much. He gets very emotionally attached very quickly. He's a lover of truth, um, and he is a catalyst for something huge in this book. Absolutely huge. Probably the biggest point in this book, which is ironic because it's given by a character that we know hardly that much about and spend hardly any time with, but he's so pivotal to that moment. And I think that's something that builds a relationship with him and Derek and the rest of Lucan Weddings organizers for probably the rest of their lives after this sort of situation. So in terms of the how the chapter feels sensory wise, the environment, it's so tense because um essentially what they're doing is they're a wedding company, they're trying to set up a wedding, but at the same time they have to hide the fact that everything's just being obliterated and actually everything's in chaos. It's the sort of putting on a show sort of thing, but everything's going wrong behind the scenes. It's so stressful, but it's beyond that because obviously they're fighting for their lives as well, so there's that. I just With this chapter, I just love the scene of the main area where the main fight happens, because I imagine just dust and dryness and cracks and destruction everywhere, just obliterating, deafening sounds and everything. It's so visual, this chapter, and you can almost taste the dust in your mouth. It's really, I love it. I absolutely love that scene. Um, yeah, it's just, oh, I do love this scene. Excuse me. So, what is at stake in this chapter I wanted to talk about is everything. It's the future of it's the future of Lucan weddings in general, all of the livelihood of every single character, but not just the livelihood, their lives, period. Somebody wants them all dead. We have to keep remembering that. So they need to either sort this out, otherwise everything's over, and this is the point where they have no choice but to resolve this horrendous situation that they find themselves in. Um, yeah, and they're basically just trying to stay alive. Um, so the question is, who? What's going on? Why as well? Why do this? Why are they doing this? Um, what is their motive? And how is Derek and everybody else? How are they going to escape this situation? How will they do it? Because it seems almost impossible. Um, yeah, Yeah, this chapter though is important because I always feel penultimate chapters are extremely important because they are the build up to the final chapter, the final crescendo. So they're just almost just as important as the actual final chapter. I think the final chapter in any book is the most important chapter. However, yeah, the lead up to it can't be overstated. It's so precious and so it needs to be done so intricately and detailed and well prepared. It really does. Um, so yes. So what do you think is going to happen? If you haven't read it, you won't know. If you have read it, well done, you will know. But what kind of challenges do you think Derek will face? That's a good question, isn't it? But yeah, that's it, my lovelies. So, as per usual, I will put the link of this beautiful book down below. You can get it physical copy in on Amazon. You can also get digital copies on Kindle, iBooks, and Kobo as well. I'll put the link of that in the description below. But yes, my lovelies, have a fantastic evening. I need to sleep. I look ridiculous. So yes, love you all. Bye bye.